Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's Modern Sales Mastery Show. As usual, I am Felipe Gonzalez, your event host for today and social media coordinator here at Vengreso. I would like to welcome you to this week's episode. Please let us know where you're tuning in from in the comments section below. We'll definitely see it. We will be having a special guest talking all about her new book. But before we bring her in, let me introduce to your host for today's show. She is the amazing, always insightful, always vibrant CVO and co-founder here at Vengreso. Please help me welcome Viveka von Rosen. Viveka, how you doing?
Thank you so much, Felipe. Good to be here. I am coming to you live today from sunny Costa Rica. I am looking outside, and right now there are two, I think they're called yellow tangers, fighting in a tree right outside. It's crazy. The tree that usually has the toucan sitting in it. So I cannot complain about where I'm coming at you live from today. And I also can't complain because my special guest is Ms. I'm so choked up. I can't even say your name, Paula. Is Paula White. She is a recognized sales leader, leveraging her talents to scale inside sales teams into multimedia, multi-million. Okay, let me try that over again. Is Miss Paula White, who has leveraged her talents to scale inside sales teams into multi-million standalone sales channels. She's helped organize and achieve 8 to 10% yearly compounded growth, demonstrating success in a wide variety of industries, including travel and tourism, investments, veterinary and healthcare, distribution. But more importantly than that, and why I am so psyched to have Paula on board today, it's her unwavering passion for music that she applies in order to bring new perspectives and open up new possibilities for leaders. So she works with leadership with one of a kind, forward thinking approaches that are heart and mind centered. And I love that your company is Side B Consulting and your newest book is Side B. So I want to talk to Paula all about her new book. What does it mean? What inspired you? Let's bring Paula on right now. Welcome, my
Hello.
friend.
Look, I got
Hello.
my drums. Oh, sorry, I have to flip them, right? Yeah. Got my
Hey,
drumsticks ready to go.
I'm like, are they big chopsticks? I don't know. You know?
Yeah.
And I love you got Side B in the background.
I still have to learn to turn them though.
Just spin
That's
them.
yeah, to spin them.
Yeah. That's the thing. It looks good though. If you could just do a couple little and then like off screen, and then we're good to go.
Yeah.
And it's funny, we're in the green room, and I was like, I'm not so much a fan of this picture in my office. And they're like, oh, wait a second, but they're musicians and they're playing music and they're playing the drums. So actually, it's 100% accurate. So I took my background off of Blur just so we could show. And I'll sit over here that everyone can see the lovely musicians in the back.
That's fabulous. Well, thank you so much for having me, Viveka. I am honored to be a part of this, and I love that you are so passionate about music as well. So thank you.
I am like you. I cannot sing and I cannot play, but I do love music. So, how many people in the audience are like us? You can't sing, you can't play, but you just love music. It is the soundtrack to your life. Yes. Give me a yes or an amen in chat right now. So music is, right? It's a universal language. It touches on all kinds of different parts of the brain. I remember when my grandmother was passing away, she'd had Alzheimer's, severe dementia for 20 plus years. She didn't know anything or anybody, but the second we started humming like a church hymn, she could sing right along. Like, it is fascinating to me how the brain works like that. So, how do you encourage innovation in your Yorkshire? I need to sing this clearly because I
Sing
cannot
it.
talk today. How do you encourage innovation in your workshops? See, this is why I don't sing.
Oh, that's fabulous. So that's exactly how we do it, right? Because it is music that helps use both sides of our brain.
Yeah.
And most of the time, we don't understand that our thoughts go faster than our
Yeah.
words. point example, right?
I just showed everybody that today. Yes.
But it happens to me all the time. So to actually stop and think about how music is powerful to your brain activity provides clarity and focus and creativity and all of those things that we need as really strategic leaders. It's the next generation of leaders that really will tap into a leadership playlist that's going to help them.
I love that. And I mean, what's fascinating about Paula, as well as being like uber successful and being able to grow these amazing sales teams, you wrote a book and you're dyslexic.
Yes, absolutely.
That's like, so I don't want to hear anybody with this "no, I can't" attitude, right?
I have been dyslexic for all my life. And you'll read about it in the book where, my parents, all they told me was, and then back then, and I'm not going to reveal my age, but back then there was not tools to help people with dyslexia. You just, everyone thought it was a mixing of numbers and letters.
Yeah.
And it is so much more complex than that. So when I was in school, I would play music to learn my lessons, to study for tests so that I knew what the anatomy looked like or what the Gettysburg Address would be. And all those things I would use music for. And so, yes, being dyslexic writing the book was a challenge.
Yeah.
And I have to thank my editor 100% for at least helping me get all my thoughts into a cohesive way.
It really is interesting because I don't know about you. I'm also really, really, really bad at memorization. Like, you want me to memorize a poem or something, forget it. Put it to music and all of a sudden, I mean, we all have like friends or spouses or sons who can like, sing or at least quote any song, anytime, anywhere, and it is interesting how music helps us with things like that. But how does it help us in sales, right? So and sales and leadership. So how does music, how did the concept of side B start and how does it help us?
Well, interestingly enough, getting back to your one point, we do memorize things. I mean, think of the ABCs. How many people still, I'd love to see in the chat, how many people still sing the ABCs in their head to remember what comes after a letter? I do.
I totally do. I totally do.
Point with that. That is
100%.
one of the things. But this concept came to me with two aha moments. One, when I just got down in giving a presentation to the senior leadership team. And I really failed at that. And I failed because I didn't put the financials in it. So if you're ever giving a presentation to a leadership team, make sure you add the financials. That's one.
They want to see that. Yeah.
So I was thinking to myself, how in the world, how did I do this? Why? I must not be prepared. I must not be good at this job. So people were coming to me and everyone had a voice saying, be like this person, or be pragmatic, or be this, be that. And I got in the car one night, simply frustrated, and turned on the radio, and it was Otis Redding. Now, you're probably sitting there thinking, sitting on
the dock of the bay. That is exactly what was in my head just now.
Right. But that wasn't the lyric that hit me. The lyric that hit me were, I can't do what 10 people tell me to do, so I might as well stay the same. And I thought right then and there, no, I am not going to stay the same. I looked in the mirror and that was my first aha moment.
Wow.
The second one came when I was at a Struts concert. I don't know if you all know the Struts, but their lead singer and their band members are incredible. They're just really, really talented. But we went to a concert in Atlanta, my husband and I, and we bought VIP tickets so we could meet them.
Yeah.
It was a quaint little venue. So we thought, okay, we're going to go, we'll get good seats up front. Me again, not understanding that the front is standing room only, called the pit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
at my age, that wasn't going to happen. So we went upstairs to the balcony, and we got first row balcony, center stage.
Nice.
And as we were singing and enjoying the music, I looked down and I saw the fans, rocking their hands all in unison, and the band feeding off each other.
Yeah.
And that's when the thought came, what if leaders could rock that same kind of attention from their employees, their customers, their sales, their buyers, and vice versa?
Right.
Wouldn't that be great?
So you can, they can inspire and feed off of each other as compared to what usually happens, which is like fear and loathing. So
Correct. Right. No, that is exactly right. So interestingly enough, that's how the concept came about. And so I worked with a neuroscientist or neurologist and a psychologist, and we kind of started to develop these ideas, and it was fun.
Yeah. So what are these side A and side B? Because normally we think of side B as being kind of the throwaway side. And for those young folks on the call, so there are these things called records. You see one of them behind Paula right now. And on the A side of the vinyl was the main song, the popular song. And on the B side, it was just the 45s, the smaller ones. On the B side was, what some people consider to be a throwaway song. But oftentimes those B sides, and you write about this in your book, because there wasn't as much pressure, right? It wasn't the A song, it was the B song. There wasn't as much pressure. So you got the experimental music. You got the music that they created quickly without all the pressures on them. And some of those B-sides ended up being, and I wrote them down somewhere here, ended up being like the band's most famous songs. Beth from Kiss, Hound Dog from Elvis, Good Riddance from Green Day, I'm the Walrus from the Beatles, Maggie May from Rod Stewart. That's going to stick in your head. Sorry for that. Can't Always Get What You Want by the Rolling Stones. We're going to Rock Around the Clock by Bill Haley and the Comets. Those were all B-side songs that, some of these artists are known for now.
And my favorite one is Wipeout by the Safari. And all he did was, they said, let's record something for your side B. And he just sat at the drums. That's what happened.
And that's awesome. So what are side A, side B leadership traits?
So when I think of side A, side A are your resume building skills. All those skills we educate ourselves on negotiating, budgeting, strategic planning. Your side B are your emotional based skills, those positive behavioral traits that complement the side A. And really, when you take that approach, it is a both and approach rather than an either or.
And I think that's so important, and we've got friend Sherry Levitin talks about that heart-based approach to sales. And, I think it's becoming more and more important that we focus on that, not as women, but as people. Like men need to be using this side B leadership as well, right?
Well, the next generation of employees and leaders are actually calling for it. They're craving it. They want to see their leader bring in their whole self. They want to see that side B because that's what they look up to.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we're going to talk more about this. I know, Felipe, you have something you want to run here, a little advertisement for us, maybe, or not. All right. I just realized I like our ads so much because they're musical, right? We don't have much.
That's right.
There's no speaking. It's all music and visuals.
While you were doing that, I went and got an old 45. So
Oh my-
people could see what the old 45s looked like.
Yes, kids. Yes, kids. This is what a 45 used to look like. And you had to get the special little inserts, right, in order to play it on your, yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So before the break, we were talking about side A and side B leadership skills, what they were, why they were important. So let's talk a little bit more about in your workshops and boot camps, you use music as a metaphor and a tool. So can you give us, tell us a little bit, like, how do you do that, and share some of your magic with us?
Sure. So let's just start by talking about the music as a metaphor, right? Yeah. We all know what positive behavioral traits are naturally inside of us.
Yeah.
So if you just take a survey during our workshop or boot camp, we will find out what your side B behavior is, whether it's curiosity or whether it's passionate, trustworthy, ethical, gracious, kindness. There's 10 of them. And here's the beautiful part. You don't have to be just one. Right. You can be a whole band. Like,
I like it.
The drummer is one of my very, very favorites, because the drummer side A is a forward thinker, a visionary. And why would we think that? And I thought of the drummer and the drums because they keep tempo of the song. Just like in business, they keep tempo of the business.
Exactly. Got to move it forward. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Keeping
exactly.
it moving forward. And side B, curiosity. And why would I put curiosity there?
Yeah.
Because if you are a forward thinker, visionary, the way you collect ideas is by asking a lot of questions, because we know that questions are a pathway to development and improvement. Right. So curiosity, you're asking a lot of questions, not just of your board members, not of your senior leaders, but get on the floor and speak to your salespeople. And salespeople, speak to your customers. Be that curious drummer with your customers, and so that's what we do. We uncover their natural behaviors is one. And then the other is really a one song concept that I use. And I keep my own personal leadership playlist. Mm-hmm. How many people do you know that has a playlist for working out, or maybe a romantic dinner?
Yep.
Or somewhere along the lines of, even just there you go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I even had a playlist for my dad's memorial. So I've got playlists. They're the soundtrack of our lives, right?
So why not a leadership playlist?
Right. Because I like that.
When we're in work mode, and I think I just posted an article from HBR on this, that interestingly enough, when people are happy, they're more productive. Yeah. And the markets really soar. So how do we get leaders? And leaders are more happy when results are achieved.
Yeah.
Right? So how do we get salespeople to be happy and not frustrated, or leaders being not frustrated at looking at data spreadsheets and Excel spreadsheets and all these things that they have to manage?
Yeah.
Without having a moment to take to listen to a good song to adjust that mood in a moment.
Yeah. So you're using music like literally and metaphorically. Like you're literally saying you need to listen to music, and you're also using it metaphorically, using the different instruments to show leadership style. So you really have those two enmeshed.
A both and approach, right?
Yeah.
Both. So here's the beautiful thing. I tell people this all the time. When you go into a brainstorming meeting
Mm-hmm.
and you know what the topic is going to be you guys are going to brainstorm about, right?
Yeah.
You want ideas. Most people go into that brainstorming meeting with ready to perform, ready to set themselves, get their words out, get their ideas out.
Right.
Well, I will tell you, if you play some music before, that drops all the self knowledge and it opens up the conversations to even better innovations that could come out.
Because it turns the brain off and the heart on, right? And yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love that.
So my what's the word I'm looking for here?
We were laughing about this. We were chatting a couple months ago, and both of us were having like we won't share our ages, but both of us were like, "Oh my God, what happened to my brain?"
Here we go. So here's my challenge for any leader out there: create a leadership playlist, get a song to motivate you, find a song that slows you down, so when you're upset will help you get control back into your world, and find this song that motivates others. Start with 3.
Exactly. I mean, music is such an important part of our training. We literally have playlists for, the different countries and geographies that we work with. It's so important. Obviously, with our ads, music is a really big part of what Vengresso is. When we have our yearly, biannual, whatever, like SKO's company-wide meetings now on Zoom. There is a soundtrack to it. I think it is so important that companies have a soundtrack.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what would even be better is, one thing that I'm doing, and I work with a producer and I work with musicians, is for people to come up with their own corporate song for the year.
Yes. We're actually working on that. We have a lot of musicians actually within the company. So it's probably going to be a rap, but that's fine.
That's fine, because you can take that message and use it all year long for sales and marketing and operations. So
yeah, I love that. Now, another thing you talk about a lot in your book is legacy and leaving a legacy. It's so funny because from the time I was little, I was so mistaken. From the time I was little, I was like, I want to write a book, because if you write a book, everyone in the whole world for all eternity will always remember you, because there's that book. Well, I've written several books, and I don't know that anyone other than, my close family and friends are going to remember me. But there is such an internal drive, I think, to leave a legacy. And a lot of, I'd say most people don't know or can't figure out what that legacy is going to be, but we have this internal drive to leave a legacy. So how do leaders leave a positive legacy for people they serve?
Well,
legacy. I just made up a word. It's a
legacy.
It's a legacy.
So the way I look at it is, first of all, we can't define our own legacy, right? It's got to come from who we are naturally. And your side B, survey is going to tell you what you have interest and preference and tendencies to do.
Yeah.
So now if you know you're curious, or if you know you're passionate or trustworthy, you can start behaving that way, listening to songs that encourage that behavior.
Yeah.
But more importantly, what I say is we always leave a legacy. Everybody does. Whether they're leaving the department, getting promoted, leaving for a company. It all depends on whether you want that to be a good legacy or bad legacy.
Yeah.
And so it's really your choice in how you define that. So when you tap into your side B behaviors, you're complementing your side A, taking that both and approach, and your legacy becomes what your side B behavior starts to show.
Yeah. I love that. You just don't think about that, but of course you can leave a positive or a negative legacy.
Yeah. I actually wrote a song on that. It is on my YouTube, and it's called There You Go.
There you go.
And it's in the book too. If you get the book, it's on a QR code in there. So
Oh, good. Okay. All right. I'll have to get that. That's awesome. All right. So we only have a couple minutes left. So if people want to uncover their side B legacy behavior, what can they do? What can they do to bring out that side B?
That side B, well, there's a lot. First of all, you can contact me.
Yeah.
But you can also, on my website, under the music tab, there is a survey application that
I love surveys.
Yeah, it's a survey application that you can do, and then you will get your summary of all 10 side Bs. And then if you want to uncover that further, you're more than welcome to schedule 15 minutes with me and see what we can accomplish.
And There You Go is on that, is the YouTube song There You Go is right on that page. So
Yes.
Felipe, I popped that into chat. Can you pop that, can you share that into the chat channels for everybody so that they can access that and be able to get in touch with you and learn from you. Do you have any final words of advice, anything you want to say before we wrap this puppy up?
Oh, thank you. First of all, I want to say thank you. Thank you for understanding this concept. Thank you for believing in what music can do. It's when we take that human and put it into our being that we can actually, leverage our musicality. And it's so important to bring that to our workplace now. And we have time. We have a pivotal change to do that at this point.
Not to go off on a whole other tangent and keep you here for another 15, 20 minutes, but with the pandemic and us, I think when we, especially salespeople who were in cubicles before, you could probably wear headsets and play music through your computer. But I think with the pandemic and working from home, we've been able to relax a little bit more into, into the ability to play music, to have it, outside of our headphones. And I'm sure there's some science around that too. And I think now that we're starting to move back, or some people are starting to move back into offices, maybe, salespeople, employees will be strident in saying, no, I need, we need music in our lives. Now, obviously not everyone can be playing music from their cubicles, but maybe that musicality piece will come back into the office as well. Yeah. And not that horrible, that horrible crap that they play.
That white noise.
That white noise crap. Yeah.
That white noise is not good. There's white, brown, pink noise, and they're all different. Yeah. They're all
I did not know.
Frequencies for what affects each person. So having white noise on there is like playing country music or playing rap for your whole audience that may or may not like it.
Right. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, that's very interesting. Okay, we'll just have to have you back on again. We'll talk about the different colors of music for future. Well, again, if you want to get in touch with Paula, we have added her website link to all of the channels. So if you're listening to us on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Twitter, just look into the chat. You'll be able to see the link. Also, Felipe has popped it in there. So if you just want to type it in, or quite frankly, you could just Google Paula White side B and it'll take you to her website as well. It has been wonderful to have you with us today. Thank you so much for bringing more music into our lives. Now maybe I'll appreciate this picture a little bit more.
There you go. I am so honored, Viveka. Thank you. You've been fabulous.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, Felipe, the floor is yours. Goodbye, everyone. Have a great rest of the week.
We're not sweating our numbers. We're not struggling to prospect or find customers. We're not even sweating into quarter. Because we're growing a foundation of A-level sales talent. We're rethinking successful habits. And we're rethinking our entire digital prospecting strategy. We're going to break records and explode our sales funnel. We're doing things differently, and we're doing things better. Better than before. Because this program showed us how to not only excel at sales, but how to become a prospecting master.